There we go. So I want to thank you all so much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening. It really shows your commitment and care to Tacony Creek Park, and we really do appreciate that. Um, I'd like to kick it off to Justin to introduce himself.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Justin DeBerdinis. I am just in week two at TTF. I'm the new executive director. I have an incredible gift of an opportunity that I get to spend 3 whole months here with Julie in the saddle, and that has just been tremendous. So it's great to come into an organization. Often you feel like you just have to learn everything on the fly. You know, you're putting out fires right away before you even know where the paper and the pens are, and just to have this co-residency with Julie, where I can learn under her leadership and learn the organization from the staff and folks like you is just a real special opportunity. So I'm just at the beginning of that. So just a little bit about my background. My last two jobs has been in the space of public parks. I was the director of public programs at Bartram's Garden, starting in 2013, and then starting in 2020. I was the director of FDR Park for the city of Philadelphia. So it's Bartram's, FDR, and now Tacony Creek Park for me. And I love this sequence. What I learned from those previous two parks is how important it is to have a strong, organized, vocal community of park advocates pushing the city, pushing our elected officials, driving people out for cleanups, guiding the organization and programming, and I would even say holding organizations like TTF accountable that we are producing what the folks who use the park need. I just think it is such a vital role, in everything that you put in to groups like the Tacony Creek Park Keepers just pays dividends tenfold, 20-fold, 50-fold. It is the most highly leveraged, most beneficial thing that you can do for an organization is invest in community leadership. That's the philosophy of public space management that I've come from, and I have seen it succeed. I have seen it transform Bartram's Garden from a relatively sleepy historic site that didn't really have a lot of relevance to the communities that live in Southwest to a national model of how a historic garden can be meaningful in an urban setting with working class communities, with diverse communities. I've seen how it's transformed FDR Park with organizing with the Southeast Asian market and the other vendor communities and building one of the best friends groups in the city. That's the exact same thing we're going to do here. That is what we're going to continue to build and reach new heights with in Tacony Creek Park. And I'm really appreciative of everything the Keepers have done to date. I'm excited to learn more from you and learn more about what your communities need out of Tacony Creek Park, how we can build a better program, how we can up the level of maintenance. That's the role that we need from folks, and of course, we need boots on the ground. That's what transforms parks at the end of the day. It's not plans, it's not paper that we do in the office. It's not even capital projects. It is what people do in a park in a given day, and this park has about the greatest communities of any park in the city of Philadelphia, and I believe that honestly. That to me was the reason that I chose this, and hopefully why TTF chose me is because of how much I believe in this community. I'm from Kensington. I'm from the River Wards in Fishtown. That's where I grew up. Tacony Creek Park, that was our woods when I was a child. The first half of my career was in community organizing in these same neighborhoods where this park is in. I kind of feel like my career in parks, when I decided I wanted to go into parks, it kind of led me away from my home turf. And I'm just glad that after a decade plus, that same journey is now bringing me back. So it's a thrill to be with you. Now, one thing I want to apologize for tonight. This is a holy day for me and my family. I'm just dipping out of a family gathering before we head over to church, so I don't have the full run of time with you guys tonight. Just would love to get the intros and be able to hear from everyone and really push that we have our Philly spring cleanup coming next weekend, April 6th, and we really hope that everyone from this call can be there with us. We hope everyone can bring a friend and we can continue the conversation. But it's a real high priority for me. The reason I'm dipping out of a family commitment tonight is because of how much I appreciate, value, and believe in the keepers. I hope our next meeting, and I think you'll talk about this more in the agenda. I know in-person meetings, where we meet and we break bread and where we have time at a restaurant. I know those have been really popular for the keepers. I hope that can be in one of our next couple meetings so that I can really sit down with you all and talk about Tacony Creek Park, really understand your perspectives, your journeys, your visions here. So I'm going to get a little flavor of it tonight. I'm sorry I can't stay for the full call, but I'm really, really eager to get to know each one of you personally and to understand your personal vision and dream and what really keeps you at the table here for Tacony Creek Park. I've had the pleasure to meet some of you on this call, but I'm really looking forward to meeting the rest. So that was a little long-winded, but I want to get that intro out before I, ran out of time, and would love, if it makes sense with the agenda, Malcolm and Julie, just love to hear from everyone else on the call, and just hear about what brings you in and what makes you love and what causes you to have this commitment for Tacony Creek Park. That would be great. So yeah, thanks for having me to TTF. Thank you for everything that you guys do, and I'm just really glad to be here, rolling my sleeves up to get in there with you and really make a transformation.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Justin. And yeah, we definitely have the time. I just want to be respectful of you and your schedule, but we definitely have time to kind of go around and have the keepers introduce themselves and kind of what brings them to Tacony Creek Park. I know we have a couple new faces, so I also want to introduce the staff as well. I just want to go through briefly for the people who may not know us as well. So my name is Malcolm. I'm the Philadelphia Community Organizer with TTF. I do a lot of the outreach for our programming. Some of you know me very well because I'm the one who constantly call you guys or blow up your inbox with emails. So I appreciate you coming out. Julie, do you want to briefly introduce yourself? You're still muted. While Julie tries to figure out the unmuting, Dorian, do you want to go?
I think I'm unmuted. I want to hear from community folks. So everybody, I'm Julie. I'm the director at TTF. I want to go ahead and hear from the community folks.
Eric, would you like to start?
No, start. Hi, everyone. I'm Dorian.
So Pete, why don't you get started and then do popcorn to another community person?
Okay. Yeah, I'm Pete Carter. I live down near the Friends Hospital property. So that's kind of where I hang out when I go in the park. And I've talked to Justin a bit and obviously complained a lot to others about what's going on there. I am thinking of kind of flipping the agenda a little bit from my perspective and just saying, I'm willing to walk their property once a week and give a report if there's kind of a maintenance plan for that, and have a clamp day down there. I got a chainsaw, meet me with your gator, and we'll drag some trees in front of some of the rough spots and start trying to secure the property a little better. So that's my spiel for the day.
Security is very high on our agenda, Pete. I just want to let you know that that's on the topic every day we're there. So cool. we do have some plans hatching, and I'm eager to talk to you more about that.
Cool. So I will pass it on to my friend Tom, who I haven't talked to in a while.
Hey, Pete, thank you. Everyone, hope you're having a great evening. My name is Tom McHale. For about the past 3 years, I have been one of our trail ambassadors and I guess our most senior walk with me walk leader. I run the Saturday morning walks, and my passion is that I live here in the park. My family's been here for about 30 years, and we live right up against the Tacony Creek Park here on Tabor Road. So I've grown up on the trails, walking our dogs, along the trails, going through the woods. And, my earliest memories of my mother walking us to school every morning was through the park trails. And then one morning on her walk home by herself, she had an unfortunate incident where she felt unsafe to walk the trails anymore. So when I came back a few years later to help take care of my aging family, I decided that I wanted to spend time creating and participating in group walks so that people like my mother who loved the trail but felt unsafe walking alone could walk with people so they feel safe, build a sense of community, build a way to, facilitate outreach and get outside and enjoy the trails. So that's what I do. That's been my role here at TTF for the last 3 years. And this is why I do it. It's so nice to meet everybody. And Justin, nice to meet you here tonight.
Great to meet you. Thank you, Tom.
Sure thing. And I'd be happy to pass along to Erica.
Oh, hi. My name is Erica Barksdale. I'm actually new. This is the first meeting. I found out about this because a flyer was mailed to my home, and it came at the perfect time because I was looking for something to volunteer for, to actually get up out of my home, like on the weekends. And when I Googled the information, and I'm like, oh, this is like perfect for me. I can volunteer, be of service, get out the house. And Thomas, that walking thing sounds right up my alley because I'm like, that's what I was originally looking for. But I found something like, oh, volunteer and walking, so this is even better. So yeah, that's just me and why I joined this today.
And where do you live at?
I'm actually in Almy.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful.
Eric, if you want to popcorn the introduction to somebody else.
Ava? I can't hear you, Ava. I think you're on mute.
Sorry. Thank you so much for the heads up, Erica. Hi, everyone. My name is Ava. I'm new as well. This is my first meeting tonight. I'm really excited to be here as I had a call recently. I think it's really from my childhood growing up along in nature environments where it was woodsy and things like that. Had a call recently to learn more about water conservation, especially around creeks. So I'm here to just deepen into that to see where it takes me. I'm curious about where it takes me and where I can lend my talents and skills in my hands and keeping water clean and eco-friendly and sustainable and all of those things. I also am interested in the walking portion too. I find a lot of centering and grounding when out in nature. And I like to think that I'm an earth steward, but I need a lot more education to really take on that label. So I'm happy to be here to learn along with all of you. And congratulations to Justin on your new position.
Yeah, I think you're in the right place, everyone. Ava, for all those things. Yeah. Where do you live, Ava?
I live in Lamont, which is a historic part of Elkins Park.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, great.
So Tina, do you want to go next?
Hi, everyone. My name is Tina Ridgway. I actually, I don't work for TTF or anything. I actually work at Furco Playground. I actually did a couple of cleanups with TTF and with doing like the summer camp and after school program with Furco. I did some stuff with Dorian for the kids. So that's how I'm familiar with TTF. I'm also on the Harrogate Civic Association board and also the 24th PAC, which is the Police Advisory Council. So I just pop around to different neighborhoods and join the meetings and see what's going on in the different neighborhoods because, everyone wants the same thing and we're all here to help each other.
That's great.
And so are you in Harrogate, Tina? Is that what I'll assume?
Yes, I live in Harrogate, Port Richmond area, but yeah, I'm from Harrogate.
And she brings her whole family with her.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Definitely. I'm just gonna, Maureen, are you on?
Yes, I'm here. My name's Maureen Lusak. I'm actually a member of the Jenkintown Environmental Advisory Committee, and I'm just looking for more ways to try to get Jenkintown community residents involved in outside their community, to let them know what's available, what, get them more aware of the environment and what we need to do to clean it.
That's
I
wonderful.
really, yeah. Go ahead, Julie. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Justin. I was just gonna say, as a former Jenkintown resident and a parent of Jenkintown High School graduate, thank you, Maureen. We love the Jenkintown EAC.
Thank
Well,
you.
what I was going to say, Julie, what's great about this call is we have people on here from literally from the headwaters up in Jenkintown, where this creek begins, all the way down to Port Richmond and Harrogate. That's really wonderful that this call is a cross section of all the communities that this creek touches. So that's pretty special.
That is wonderful. As Justin mentioned.
So Justin, do you wanna, I know you can only stay on for a little while. Is there anything else that you wanted to address? Because I think everybody introduced themselves.
Yeah. I think what I want to share is just from that little go around. I think we hear what's special about this creek. That when you live in an urban setting, you don't expect, or even the close-in suburbs, to be quite honest, when you live in these urban or just sort of like inner ring suburban settings, we don't have a guarantee that we have access to a creek and to woodlands. That's not something that people often expect when we live in these highly developed areas. And that we have this creek, we have this woodland, we have mature trees, we have natural lands areas that are where birds and foxes and all sorts of wildlife are living, simultaneous to our existence. That's what pulls us in. Also in this call, and certainly it's something that we don't I think gloss over at TTF, we have challenges around trash, around safety, around feeling safe. That there's this incredible asset that is there, but not everyone feels like that asset is accessible. And the challenges may be different. In the Montgomery County sections of it, we don't have contiguous trails or contiguous parks that run the full length of the creek. We have sort of spaces where we can experience that in a pocket, and then maybe it's broken up with private property, and again, so that's one challenge. In the city section, we have this great contiguous stretch, but we deal with those challenges of, is it safe? Is it welcoming? And I believe that that's where the keepers and TTF as an organization need to stay focused on holding that vision where we're celebrating what is great and amazing and special, because there's something great and amazing and special about it today, and also simultaneously taking the steps that are needed to make sure everyone can enjoy it and enjoy it fully and really sort of bring this creek to its full potential and its full benefits. So I feel like we heard both what's amazing and the challenges on this, and I think that's very fair and very true, and I think the reality that we live in. But I'm a believer because I've worked in two parks that have transformed in the time that I've been there. So I don't take, like, it's not because of me, it's just one part of that transformation, but it's actually many hands. That's what I know from witnessing those transformations, is the huge numbers of people and organizations and businesses that come together when we see public space transform. So I feel like I'm seeing a little bit of that on this call, and I really want to do that transformation with you. So it's not just your vision for the park, it's also your vision for the Keepers organization that we really value. So like I said, this is kind of like an intro. This is sort of a first cut at it. And as I said, I can't stay for the full time. I can stay for a little bit longer, Julie. I think I could probably stretch till 6:30. So I have a little bit more time if there's something useful. But I want to say that this is just sort of a first breaking of the ice with some of us for a conversation. I really hope we can sit down, break bread in that longer format way, and really start to imagine, get excited for what we can do and what's possible, because the resources are coming up. Maybe this is the last thing I want to share. Just in the few months since I've accepted this job, and I think it's a testament to what everyone on this call has done, the city has committed a job training workforce crew specifically to Tacony Creek Park. So right now we have a crew of 11 individuals who are working and doing job training in Tacony Creek Park 5 days a week, cleaning up. That is not something a lot of parks in the city have, but we have it here, and that's new. The city is now committing more hourly seasonal positions, partnering with TTF to put more bodies that are just Tacony Creek Park, just for this creek, on the ground here. We're hoping we can see some similar returns and investments happening in the Montgomery County sections of the park. We are focusing very hard on our townships and boroughs up there to see if we can get that as well. So we're at a time, I think, of rising resources, both human, dollars, capital on the ground. So this is a great time to be in imagination and vision mode and building off that great master plan that I'm sure a lot of you participated in the coming years. So like, this is the time of the rising tide. It is coming and it's happening, and we really see you as the core community leaders to imagine with us as we go there. So that's kind of, I think that's what I wanted to share with this time. But I have a little bit more time, so I can just hang on the call. And Julie, Malcolm, Dorian, our friends here are the keepers. Please, you can take this meeting where you think it needs to go. But just really, really glad everyone made time tonight.
That sounds great. I'm just curious. I would love to know, Erica, did you receive a big postcard?
Yes. Yeah, I did. And it was perfect.
That is really fabulous. So I'm just, Dorian, do you want to talk about that project? Because when you said you received, mail is expensive. We don't do a lot of mail, and having you on this call because you got that postcard makes us very happy. So I think it would be Dorian to take a couple of minutes and explain what that project is, why we did it.
Definitely, that's so exciting. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, so this is a project that we started working like near the beginning of this year, and we really wanted to reach as much of our watershed neighbors, Tacony Creek Park neighbors, as much as possible to really bring awareness to the Tacony Creek Park green space. But what we did differently was that we've been translating a lot of materials in English and Spanish, but this time we really wanted to broaden the reach. So we added an additional 6 other languages. So it's a multi-language postcard just to kind of share, this is the park. Here's a website for the park where you can gain more information and learn how you can be involved as a Tacony Creek Park keeper. And we also updated the website of the Tacony Creek Park page to match the 7 additional languages that we have. So that way we can hope to really bring a lot more attention and more future stewards of the park. So thank you so much. I'm so glad that you got the postcard.
And we sent out 40,000 postcards.
43,000.
43,000.
Wow.
Wow.
Got a grant to do that, and it was zip codes around the park, and we have not yet looked. The month isn't over. They went out at the beginning of the month, so we haven't really looked at like the analytics on the site or anything. But I think that website for the park, which we created with funding from the William Penn Foundation, so that's where park stuff lives. We felt that there needed to be a website for the park different from our website, because we do other things other than the park, and we felt like it deserved that identity in place for all the stuff we do there to live. So I'm so glad that you made us.
Yeah, I didn't even know like this stuff existed. That's like, oh, it was a plus to find it.
That's the point. So I'm just, one thing I think we want to try to talk about is if people want to try to do the next meeting in person, that seems like a good topic for folks on this call. I mean, we do a Friendsgiving every November. And we started doing, COVID. So we started doing these meetings online. I think that attendance, it's kind of be easier for people to be online, right? But it's also not the same as sitting next to somebody and eating, fried shrimp. So I don't.
And Julie, I've heard that that's when we have our highest attendance. Has been consistently has been when it's been around a meal and at a restaurant, is what I've heard.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So I love that. You don't have to twist my arm to get together for a meal. There's a lot of good food up and down this watershed. So I'd love to be doing a food tour with all of you if you think that's a good idea.
For me personally, I love a good like potluck or something like that. I'm on a budget right now, so depending upon what restaurant.
Oh, we
I
cover
could
that as
attend.
TTF. That's on us. We pay the bill for dinner. We appreciate everything you guys do, just showing up. That we value that. So it's not a cost to do the meal. That's on us.
So I would say the only other, I know staff has stuff that we wanted to talk about. I would, if please think of other people that you are friends with, who are your neighbors. What we would love is, this group is for that next meeting, for everybody to bring somebody. Pete has a lot of friends around, and as he said, we have a new walk leader who's his friend, but we know how important it is for people to bring their friends along with them. So we really count on that group for this too. We don't, it's hard to sort of pull people. We know how busy people are, and sometimes just having somebody say, will you come along with me to this meeting? I'm really excited about getting involved with this group. We love that. The more the merrier, two is always better than one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
and
guys
also
want
open to restaurant suggestions if anyone's got a favorite spot we should try for a get together.
Yeah, that would definitely help. We usually go to the Pan Asian Buffet on Adams. But like Justin said, there's a lot of restaurants there's some really good restaurants in our watershed. So if people want to think about that, and if there's other specific things people would like to talk about at that thing, ideas.
Are you saying the floor is open to talk about topics?
Yes.
Okay. As a newbie, I would like to learn. I was budgeting out, like I was saying, I'm trying to be good about my budget this year for a certain reason. And I was like, all right, well, I can buy a rain barrel. And then I was like, if I buy a rain barrel, I don't understand what I'm doing with all that water.
Oh, so that's a really good question. Can I answer that? So it's interesting. In Philadelphia, people can get rain barrels for free from the Philadelphia Water Department. And the Philadelphia Water Department is a department that actually funds our work in Tacony Creek Park. They're a significant contributor to our work in Tacony Creek Park. They are responsible for the creek in the park. They're responsible for our drinking water in Philadelphia. And you can get a free rain barrel through the water department, which I believe they install for you. So if there are folks who live in Philly on this call who aren't aware of that, Malcolm will get in touch with you and get you that information. They have a program that I can't remember the name of.
It's the rain check program.
The rain check program, because we're trying to manage runoff in Philadelphia. That's the city's biggest challenge. And we could talk about this all night, and we would be very happy to, we can set aside maybe some time at a future meeting to talk about the issues of stormwater and combined sewage in Philadelphia. That's one of the important things that we like to talk about. In terms of Ava, you don't live in Philly, so you can't get a free rain barrel. We sell discounted rain barrels. And what a rain barrel does, it holds water while it's raining. Rains, it fills up. I think our rain barrel is about 50 to 60 gallons. And when it's raining, that's the time when when the stormwater system is under the most pressure. Because, and this, you don't think about it all the time, but you look at the creeks when it's raining, they're very brown and scary, they're flashy, and there's water running off your property, right? There's water coming down all your downspouts, there's water going onto the street, onto the sidewalk, and our creeks just can't manage all of that stormwater runoff. So what a rain barrel does is it holds water during the rain, and then you can use it later. So one rain barrel does not make a dent, but it's a good educational tool, and also a lot of rain barrels make a dent. We install green stormwater infrastructure, which is like a rain barrel, big basins that are, like thousands of rain barrels, and those really make an impact on our creeks to hold back runoff when it's raining. I hope that helps a little.
There's a huge benefit in just the water not going in at the same time. Even if the same amount of water is going in, when it happens all at once, that's when we have the damaging events. Just slowing it down. However, but if you have a garden, if you have anything that you water around your house, that's a great reuse for rain barrel water. And then they're usually set up with a spigot at the bottom. So that's one reuse, but even just sequestering it and holding it until the rain event ends, that does a really significant, like in many rain barrels, make a significant change in what's happening to the creeks.
Yes, thank you. That was my question. I know what purpose they serve, but then I was wondering, once I collect so much water, what am I supposed to do with it? And so the garden aspect is a good idea. And then is it okay to just pour it directly onto the ground so the ground can absorb it?
Yes. You can let the water out when it's not raining. At a time what's the problem is when it's all coming down, like a storm that we had this week, when it's all and you can see if you drive by the Tacony Creek, you're in Cheltenham, you can see how high the creek is and how bad that volume of water is. We have a number of projects sort of across eastern Montgomery County and some projects in Philadelphia, and we do those projects, and we would love, if you're interested, we would love at some point, I think we'll be one in June, so you can come and see what a big project looks like. That what a rain barrel, we've installed a huge basin under Congregation Knesset Israel, which is up at Old York Road and Township Line Road parking lot. So there's a lot of rain gardens on that site. Underneath a portion of their now been there's grass back there, basin that holds water when it rains, and when it stops, it releases that water slowly. So we're always happy to talk about these rain barrels and those basins and everything, stormwater infrastructure.
And I'm sorry, everyone, I've reached the point that I need to jump off here. But once again, just really grateful for everyone on the call, and thanks to the rest of the TTF team for being here as well.
Thanks, Justin.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
So Ava, we are happy. We love talking about this stuff. This is our job. Dorian is a good educator about stormwater. We also do a program of storm drain marking where we put medallions on inlets. And there's some communities in Cheltenham that have been pretty active doing that. We would love to do it in Lamont if you're interested. And what it does is it reminds people that the storm drain, the inlet goes into a creek. Whatever goes into a storm drain ends up in the Tacony or the Tacony, or whatever creek is closest by. And this process, you put the thing down next to the inlet. You don't always know if people look down and see that, but during the process, we also talk to people to raise their awareness so they know that this inlet in front of their house ends up whatever on the sidewalk or the street, whatever trash is there, and then ends up in the inlet and in the creek. So it's a great educational tool.
I have one more question. Is there any programs that are educational about the natural wildlife growing around creek bodies of water, like any plant life, like elderberry, nutmeg, anything, like any programs that work at conservation for the creepy crawlies, the things that are around the creek?
So I'm going to pass it over to Dorian, who can talk about iNaturalist, foraging. We have someone on staff who's not on this call who's pretty excited about those kind of things.
Yes, I can share. Like we have done some programs that for foraging. We've done them seasonally, and the educator that leads those, she actually created a really nice foraging guide, which I think we have just like some basic things that you find mostly around Tacony Creek Park. So we're looking to be able to expand that, but also, you know, for the month of April, every year we've done a BioBlitz week where it's really just utilizing a free app that you could download on your phone, iNaturalist, and it's a great way to encourage everyone to go outside and take photos and make observations using that app, and that app helps to identify what you're seeing out in your environment, whether it's an insect, a flower, a tree, or a bug. And so all of those things, you know, we want to have a large number of participants during that week to help us really make the most observations as possible within that week. And then anything that's taken a picture of automatically goes to a project that our colleague Ryan has set up. So that helps to see what wildlife is living within our watershed. So it really, and then any observations that are seen, you identify it briefly with the app, but there's a database for many other scientists that can access it, and they can verify and confirm your initial identification of what you observe. So that's something that will be taking place like around the 3rd or 4th week of April.
Sounds really cool.
Could we put the iNaturalist TTF link in the chat, maybe?
I'll look it up and see. Yeah.
So our watershed is one project. So Ava, you can go look and see what people see the most and identify the most, which I think is probably something like a robin or something, or I don't know. We see a lot of squirrels, but it's also really interesting because a lot of people are doing this, and you look and see where around you. This is my favorite thing. You can look and see what people identified around you. So, you know, you may have a blue jay in your neighborhood that somebody has identified and put on iNaturalist, and maybe you've never heard it. It's really educational. It's a lot of fun. And it makes you realize how much life, you know, just how much nature and life is out there. There's things that I'm always surprised when I look where I live, what people have seen that I probably walked right by.
Thank you for all this info.
Thank you for joining us. So if there are other questions,
When is the park cleanup? I heard.
So we have a couple park cleanups if you're interested. Our first one will be this Saturday, March 30th, over at I Street and Ramona Avenue in Juniata Park from 10 a.m. to noon. And with that, Justin will be leading that cleanup. So it'll be an opportunity for you to meet him face to face. We'll be supplying all of the gloves and everything, the trash grabbers. And then, as Justin mentioned earlier, we'll be doing the Philly Spring cleanup next Saturday. It's April 6th from 10 a.m. to noon. And that'll be at Bingham Street and East Ashdale Street.
Say the street again.
Bingham Street and
Bingham,
East Ashdale.
Okay. Okay.
So after the meeting, I'll be sending out like a follow-up email. So we'll include the links to register for that cleanup if you're interested in joining us.
Okay. All right.
And we'll have a couple more cleanups throughout the year, but as we get closer to those, I'll send out the information regarding those as well.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
I was and right now we're a little short-staffed in terms of stewardship positions. So we do about one cleanup, one Saturday a month. We had been doing weekly cleanups. We're just not able to manage that. But Bennett Compost, which is one of our partners and a composting business that's right on Rising Sun Avenue, Erica. So, they're on Rising Sun Avenue between the park and Adam. And they host a cleanup once a week. I think on Wednesday mornings. So
11 to noon.
So that happens as well. They're wonderful to work with. They're a very committed business.
Okay.
We consider them heroes. And then once we sort of ramp up with stewardship staff, there'll be more regular cleanups. There's also, as Justin said, I hope you guys have seen, I know Pete has maybe seen these guys. We have the CEO Works crew, which is a national workforce development program for folks that are formerly incarcerated. And are out there. We have a crew, I think the crew is up to like 11. And they come out and they are very focused on cleaning up, getting rid of trash, short dumping, cutting back places, can see the creek and see the trail better. And they have been unbelievable. And they've been working from Cheltenham Avenue South. They started Cheltenham Avenue like every morning to make sure if there's trash, pick it up. And the areas that they have been look really different. Look really cared for, well maintained. They've been scraping the trail because there's often a lot of mud, and they've been keeping that clean. So we're delighted to have them. They've been incredible. But we'll also be setting up some other cleanups, like I said. We always do Love Your Park and Philly Spring Clean. We always do those dates.
Okay. Thank you.
Malcolm, do you want to show any of the slides? I think we're close.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, the Philly Spring Cleanup will be next Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. I'll include the registration link for that for anybody who's interested in joining, or if you have somebody, like bring a friend if you want. So we'll be sending that out. I'm going to very quickly pass it to Dorian to speak about our Birds of a Feather event that's coming up. Very exciting spring event.
Thank you. Yeah, so please come out. This is like the kickoff to the year, kind of opening, springtime. So this is to celebrate Earth Day and to celebrate trails, which is a nationwide event with the Circuit Trails Network. So there's a lot of partners, partnering with Sustainable Business Network and the Water Department. So this is to revamp and retouch the bird murals that are underneath Whitaker Avenue Bridge. So we're making an event around that. So this is an opportunity to see those murals get touched up. And we're inviting a lot of other artists that will be painting live on the trail, also showcasing a lot of their artwork. There's an opportunity to win a raffle of one of the artists that are participating, one of their creations. You have a chance to win one of those home and take one home. And we'll also have some other organizations that will be tabling with some hands-on activities, arts and crafts for all ages. And we'll have a food truck for free food for everybody who comes and signs in with us. So this is going to be Saturday, April 27th, starting at noon from 12 to 4. And interspersed between that time, there'll be some facilitated and guided activities. So that's the flyer. I'm sure Malcolm will share and help us get the word out. And I'll share the link on the chat too, so you can sign up to participate as well.
Right. And you have to come because that's Justin's first big event.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Darnie, I'm going to have you also speak briefly on the Delaware River Watershed, the fellowship position that we have coming up, which is a very exciting opportunity.
Yes, so this is a nice summer opportunity that we've done this for a few years too. This is in collaboration with the Alliance for Watershed Education. It's summer from starting June through the end of August, and it's a paid internship for the summer. And there's all the different centers that are part of the Alliance for Watershed Education. Will have, a lot of these centers will have these summer opportunities for 18 and up. So we're seeking an all-summer fellow to help us with some of our programming. There will be a capstone project involved as well that they'll present at the end of the month. So this is a very exciting opportunity. If you know of anybody that would be interested to gain, there's an orientation involved. They don't really need to have a scientific or science background. This is really an opportunity to really get youth involved and learn about watersheds and our environment and these opportunities within this field.
Great. If you guys know anybody who would be interested, we'll be sending out the application. Please share it with anybody who you think will be interested. The deadline for the application is April 26th. So when we send that out, just start putting your thinking caps on now. That way, if you have somebody who you think would be interested, you can get it to them as soon as possible. And then, as Thomas mentioned earlier, we have a couple walking groups that meets at Tacony Creek Park. We're up to 3 walk leaders now, thanks to Pete's wonderful friend, Mary. So we have, actually, Thomas, do you want to speak about the walking groups as the most senior walk leader?
Yeah, sure, Malcolm. Yeah, so we have them 3 times a week now, which we're thrilled about. We'd love to have even more opportunities. So any of you who are interested, come on out, join us as participants. I think it might be something you'd be interested in as a leader. We're definitely looking to fill out that schedule, especially now as the spring's going to be warming up. We walk all year long. So we have Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. with Mary, who's excellent, just our most recent Walk With Me leader. She's learning the ropes and she'd love to have some support on Thursday mornings. She starts on the Rising Sun Avenue Gateway. Fridays, Katie has returned after a winter hiatus. She's going to be out tomorrow, I believe, starting there at 9 a.m. at Tabor and Alany Avenue. And then Saturday mornings, that's the group that I lead, 9:30 a.m. We alternate between the Whitaker Gateway and Tabor and Alany. This Saturday, hopefully everything stays clear, we'll be starting over at the Whitaker Gateway. It's all a 1-hour walk, low impact. Everybody is welcome, whether it's seniors, kids in strollers, dogs, so long as they're well behaved and on leash. We all obey the rules. And it's just a great way to get out, experience the park without, asking too much, except to put one foot in front of the other, give yourself a 1-hour break, build a little community and friendship. And we have such a great time out there. We're so happy that the weather's going to be turning now, and hopefully we'll get more and more participants. As I said, we have the 3 walks now, so hopefully we'll be able to get some interesting ideas in the next few months of trying to get some crossover participation, some ideas we've been wanting to implement for a while, but couldn't really do it with only 1 or 2 per week. So as I said, we're looking to grow. If anyone wants to join, those are all of our dates and information. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And if you're interested in potentially leading a walk yourself, let us know. We can definitely try to make that happen. We also, of course, as you see, have running events as well. So if anyone wants to do a little bit more high impact, just reach out. Any of the information there. Jessica will be able to take care of you. And there are lots and lots of events in the park that we'd love to get more people involved in. Thank you.
And a key thing to know is that we pay walk and run leaders. It's not a volunteer position. So we pay you for your time. We pay you for time when you're out. And we pay you for time spent reaching out to people. If you spend half an hour texting and telling people to come out, or walking in your neighborhood and talking to people, we pay you for that time.
I have a question about the locations. I'm not really good with geographical street names and then knowing where they are in my head. But since I do live in Elkins Park, I'm familiar with the Tacony Creek alongside the Cheltenham area. Is that where you walk, Thomas? Is that part of it? Because I hear Whitaker, I hear Alney. Like I'm trying to wrap my head around with a visual.
Sure. Yeah, no, thank you for asking. So most of these walks all start at points south of where you're at. If you came down across, Cheltenham Avenue into the Philadelphia section of Park, that would be hitting Cheltenham, going on down, then to Adams Avenue, south to Rising Sun, to Tabor, to the Roosevelt Boulevard, and so on and so on. We do have excellent maps and guides with illustrated keys and legends of exactly all the gateways to the park, up to scale, with highlights of where you might even see some wildlife or some historic markers. All of these resources we have on the TTF website. And if you come out to any of events the next few months, we'll be sure to have them there and supply to distribute to everyone involved. So that makes it a lot easier having that visual guide. And beyond that, even when we send out emails, if you want to contact us for, TCP Walker's account, we can get you on the email chain so you get weekly updates in case there's any cancellations due to weather or anything like that. In those emails, I love to always throw in a little Google Maps link so that people can just tap that and drive their GPS right to the location, take all the complication out of it. So we have maps available. If you get on that email list, just supply your email in the chat right here, and I'll make sure that I keep you up to date this weekend. Right in there, we'll make sure that it's easy for you to find. We'd love to get more people out, and of course, someone like yourself, we'd love to have you there. So it's easier to find us than you might think. We'll find you.
We can mail you a map. We'll mail you a map. We'll make sure Malcolm has your address. And on the Keeper's website, I think Dorian put that in, there's an interactive map. So you can figure out where you are and which gateway, how to get to it. Way. The park does not extend into Cheltenham. Cheltenham owns a lot of park space that's along the creek. Cheltenham owns the Tacony Creek Parkway, but the trail and the park currently do not extend into Cheltenham. We would very much like that to happen. You should tell your commissioners that you would like that to happen. We were funded a few years ago to do a feasibility study of taking the trail, into Cheltenham all the way to High School Park. And we would very much like that to happen. And I know there's folks in Cheltenham on the EAC and some other people who are really working to try to get that done, to get funding to bring the trail, a real trail, paved trail into Cheltenham along the Tacony Creek Parkway and up to High School Park.
Julie, I'm confused because the trail that I walk is not Tacony Park Trail.
Well, it's not full. Tacony Creek Park from the boulevard down is a circuit trail, which means it's a paved trail of a certain width. And the trail in Cheltenham is it's not all paved. It doesn't meet circuit standards, which is the regional trail system. So they're not all connected. So there isn't a trail along Tacony Creek Parkway. You can't go from the gateway at Cheltenham Avenue and Crescentville and walk into Cheltenham. There's no paved trail there. There's there's segments, and they're connecting from like High School Park down to North 2nd Street. That's a new connection. And there is trail sort of from North 2nd Street to like Ashburn, but none of it is, it's a cinders trail, most of it. And we would like it to become a full circuit trail.
Thank you.
So you can get all the way from High School Park to along the Tacony Creek Park Trail, which ends in Juniata Park, and the city will be building a trail called the Creek Greenway that will go from Juniata Park all the way to the Delaware River. I'll show you some maps of that too. And again, we're happy to keep talking about that. But I think we should have dinner, right? I said I still should have dinner.
Yes. So to respect everyone's time, we just wanted to. We've been talking about the TCP Keepers page a lot tonight, so this is what it looks like. This is the place to go for all park-related news. Also, if you have a Facebook, we strongly encourage you to follow our TCP Keepers Facebook. We post a lot of updates on there. So for more information, this is a great way to stay connected to the Keepers group, what we have going on. It's a place, an opportunity for you guys to post comments, questions, concerns about stuff you have for the park. So I strongly encourage you to follow the TCP Keepers Facebook page on Facebook as well. I think, yes, that's my last slide. So I want to thank you all so much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate your time. We'll be looking at, I believe the next Keepers meeting is April 25th. So we'll be looking at trying to do that one in person based off of the discussions we had here tonight. And we'll keep you guys updated on that. Thank you so much for coming out. And I think it's time for everyone to go have dinner now.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Have a good one. Take it easy.